band that really put like the rubber to the road. We played a lot, and that's kind of how we, I guess, trusted ourselves to get our name out. Being the pandemic going on and we can't go out and play in the way we used to, we kind of have been forced to do new things to get our music out.
All my friends have moved on to cocaine.
I just wasn't playing. Didn't want to pick up the guitar, didn't want to touch it. So much of every day was trying to figure out and make sense of what the next day was going to be like or what that day would be like, that there was no creative energy left over.
All my friends have moved on to cocaine.
As a performer, I feed off the audience in front of me. Playing for a camera or, a phone is different.
They're getting high, just staring at the walls, watching the world.
This would be a great time for me to spend time polishing my craft, but I really have no motivation whatsoever.
All my friends got money for cocaine.
Initially, it was a complete shutdown. It was a total emotional, creative, physical shutdown.
What should we sing about?
And I was really kind of worried that my creativity had been completely, more than dormant, that it just went dead.
I got a chocolate cupcake, I got a chocolate cupcake,
I have no work in terms of music. All of my income comes from other sources right now. It's been kind of really hard to stay creative. I've been writing music and arranging a little bit, but not as much as I thought I would. I really miss connecting with the audience on a regular basis. I miss playing with people. Jazz is a very social art form, and it gets pretty boring just playing by myself all the time.
You try not to be angry about things. As a songwriter, you have to let what's around you kind of, I don't want to say affect you, but at least, it has to have some sort of play into your music. At least how I write songs, I can't be detached from what's going on around me.
I've been reluctant pretty much across the board on accepting gigs. I have played a couple outdoor social distance type shows, and I've also adapted with live streams. A lot of folks are doing that, and that's a daunting process too, and it kind of sucks the life out of it.
It's making me think more about gigs, like I said, it's an odd thing, because it used to be we would just burn up the highway, man, anywhere, we would just go. It makes you think more about how you structure it well, and like I said, the safety issue is a whole nother thing that I never really thought about having to incorporate into what we do.
To me, that's the most exciting thing. We're figuring out how to bring more of the outdoors in, improve ventilation in these places, making sure that we're creating healthy spaces for people to be in. And how do we get outside more? How do we play in national parks? How do we get people together in safe ways? And the other thing I think that's good about it is that it's forced so many of us just to slow down and be more intentional about the things we do every day. Intentional about shows you go to, about who you spend your time with, and what you're doing.
blind.
It's really exciting when I do get to play with people finally. But yeah, it's a little bit rusty because we're not really playing with each other these days, and it's kind of like if you don't talk to anybody for 6 months, it's going to be kind of hard to string together words to say.
Shadows grow tall.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago after being in a band and touring in a band and having, and then losing it, that music is not necessarily the way I want to make a living, but it's the way I want to live. It's a part of me as much as anything else. And that was a decision I made a long time ago. The pandemic hasn't changed that for me. I know it's changed that way for a lot of my friends, and I see my friends who saw it as a way of life now really having to learn new things. But I think that's what we're constantly asked to do. Like, you've got to continue, you have to keep reinventing yourself in the way you do things and think about things and see things.
We can't be playing out live all the time, so it's made me think more on the social media side, or made me like want to put out more music. I've been trying to write more songs or do more collaborations with people and that type thing. You just kind of got to look at it as how do you adapt.
What was one thing I would have told myself a year ago?
Oh man.
That's a good question. I might have to give it a minute on that.
Then it's about time you go. Start to make it.
What was I doing a year ago? I was in school.
Write like 12 more songs so you could record them in this downtime.
Keep doing the same things you're doing.
Probably don't get a dog.
Yeah.
Because a new puppy, as you've seen, and I'm a father too. Just everything going at home, trying to work from home, school, throw a puppy in the mix. It's like, okay. But it's cool.
Yeah.
Just going against the grain is in my nature.
Make it right, make it sing, make it
It's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be amazing. Don't worry.
make